Designed with the driver in mind, the all-new Mazda CX-90 is the perfect blend of high-performance appearance and world-class refinement. Right now, get 0.9% financing on the all-new CX-90 at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer. Team Mazda, a member of the Team Automotive Group.
That would be concerning and maybe set a precedent moving forward.
If you have plans to be outside, you might hit a couple of these little passing showers.
A drug bust and a few arrests made. Look at what they hauled in here.
Good morning. Welcome to 9 News Now here on WAFB+. Thanks for switching over to talk about your news, weather, and traffic headlines on this Tuesday.
Man, there's a lot to get to today,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so we're going to get you the very latest on I-55 because it could impact the drive this morning. There's a lot of it's shut down. It's just shut down. They haven't even accessed the entire crash site out there. We're going to get into that. But it was the fog that played a deep impact, huge impact on that. A little bit out there in our part of the world this morning. Not crazy, but it's out there.
That's it. Dr. Steve Caparata has been tracking how the fog's been impacting our morning forecast along with the morning drive. Before we get to Johnny, let's talk with Dr. Steve talking about that fog impact. And Steve, on your weather map, exactly what are you seeing right now?
You know, most areas are doing a little bit better this morning relative to yesterday, but there is one exception, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Let me show you this. The dense fog advisory does remain in effect for most of our area through 10 o'clock this morning. Here's the skyline shot over downtown. The city itself not doing bad. You can see some light fog, some low clouds, not a major hindrance to visibility. So here's our one trouble spot right now. That would be in and around Gonzales and Ascension Parish. Visibility still reported near zero, and it's quite possible that fog is being enhanced once again by the smoke. Remember, we've got a pretty big marsh fire in New Orleans east. Winds this morning are easterly, meaning things are moving east to west, so it's possible some of that smoke moving east to west from New Orleans towards Ascension Parish is enhancing the fog on a local scale there, but just about everybody else reporting visibilities well above 1 mile, so the fog is much more isolated this morning. Temperature-wise, a very mild start. Baton Rouge 69, Gonzales 64, low 70s right now showing up on the west side of the Atchafalaya Basin. Any fog should be out of here by mid-morning. Temperatures into low 80s by noon as mostly sunny skies return. Upper 80s to near 90 again this afternoon. The change today, it's going to be a bit breezy outside. You can see some wind gusts into the 20s showing up here on our model forecast, and a little bit breezy into the afternoon. Those increased winds, that looks to continue through the remainder of the week, and that should really help us out with the fog threat going forward. I think the fog threat is going to be much lower through the remainder of the week. All right, big picture right now. We've got a dome of high pressure sitting on top of us. It's going to keep us very warm, mainly dry the next several days. Kind of interesting to note, we're approaching 90 down here. There's a winter storm system developing up near the Canadian border that could dump several inches of snow, the northern Rockies, the upper plains next couple of days. But that obviously not headed our way. Quick update on the tropics. Hurricane Tammy still spinning out here, and you might have missed it. We briefly had Tropical Depression 21 form off the coast of Nicaragua, moved inland early this morning. Tammy is going to move north and then northwest, become a non-tropical low later this week. Back here at home, very warm, dry today. We'll go with a slim shower chance tomorrow. Otherwise, highs in the upper 80s to near 90 right on into the weekend. But again, I think much less fog through the remainder of the week. And then on into next week, it does look like some changes on the way. Looks like we should get a pretty healthy cold front in here sometime around Halloween. Maybe a couple of showers with that front, but a pretty decent cool down expected maybe Halloween into the first day of November. All right, 7:06 now. Johnny, I see a little bit of fog behind you on that shot. Obviously talking more about the terrible tragedy on I-55.
Fog was definitely a major part of the wreck yesterday. 158 plus cars, trucks involved. They are still cleaning that up. So I-55, when you see a vehicle or two, those are emergency vehicles. There's I-55 north and southbound near Manchac, not too far from Middendorf's. Here's Highway 51, and that's your major alternate route right now while they continue to investigate and clean up that crash. Again, that's going to be right there on 55 north and southbound, completely closed between Ponchatoula and Laplace for all practical purposes. causes. So be aware of that this morning as you get up and about. Also, hop over to the Baton Rouge area. We're still very, very backed up in Baton Rouge on I-10 and I-12. Your I-12 westbound backups kind of tapping brakes all the way into the Baton Rouge area from Denham. And then when you get past Airline closer to the Jefferson-Drusilla area, I-12 comes to a standstill. I-10 right at Bluebonnet, between Bluebonnet and Edson, that comes to a standstill. A lot of that's because of the LA1 off-ramp. It's still very backed up on the bridge because of slow-moving traffic southbound on LA1 at the Intracoastal, where we had an earlier wreck. There's your bridge traffic, just bumper to bumper going west toward Port Allen. And again, there's your on-ramp coming off of LA from 110 southbound. This is the St. Ferdinand on-ramp, so all of that's congested near the downtown area, and a lot of that's due to that LA1 southbound congestion due to an earlier wreck and just some slow traffic. And the ferry still not running in Plaquemine. So our team coverage continues, our continuing coverage on that wreck on I-55. North and southbound still completely blocked. We had some horrific video on the air this morning. You can find more on that on our website. And from Studio B, a brief recap of our morning headlines. No doubt that's one of them. And here's Matt Williams and Liz Coe.
Johnny, thank you. It certainly is. We're going to touch on that in just about 30 seconds here, but we do want to let you know about a big national headline we've been keeping our eyes on for now 3 weeks. No House Speaker. Yesterday marked that 3-week mark. So who are we looking at today? Well, we've now got 8 people in the running after Dan Muser dropped out last night. So some point today, House Republicans are expected to have a vote to figure out who's going to be that nominee.
To get the nomination, you need 50% plus 1 vote from the GOP alone. And then if they get that, then they move to the full House. We have to get to this first point first, right? So we'll see if they're able to find a nominee out of those 8. We'll, of course, let you know. Let's get you back into South Louisiana.
Yeah.
I want to bring your attention to, this is North Baton Rouge, the airport, Highway 190 right there, Zion City.
Yeah.
A shooting on Monarch Street.
It's actually a shootout. First responders telling us that they responded to this incident here at 5580 Monarch Avenue just yesterday. EMS tells us that one person had some minor injuries. Now the investigation is unfolding here. We've reached out to the Sheriff's Office. We've reached out to the Baton Rouge Police Department to find out exactly what happened, but we're told again by first responders that a shootout is what happened here at 5580 Monarch Avenue. Again, one person with minor injuries, but we're working to find out the latest in this incident happening on Monday.
All right, the top story. This is making headlines from coast to coast, across the country, right? 7 dead, almost 160 vehicles involved in a crash, a pileup along I-55 in South Louisiana. That stretch of road still shut down this morning.
And we're talking about the impact today because of that very reason. Not only does that impact morning drive for a lot of folks, the investigation is still ongoing, and that's because a lot of that wreckage is still there. It still needs to be assessed and still needs to figure out how they can get that all removed. You're actually looking at some videos shot within the last 2 hours this morning from our sister station in New Orleans. You're zooming in to I-55 where you see that wreckage there, Matt. Some of that charred up, and you can see some of those big floodlights that authorities had on there. St. John the Baptist Parish officials out there also assessing some of this. Not only do you have charred up wreckage, regular vehicles like sedans and SUVs, you've also got tanker trucks that still need to be offloaded. The chemicals that some of those trucks are carrying need to be offloaded before the tanker trucks can be moved, and then the rest of that wreckage can be removed.
That's part of the issue right now, as you mentioned, the tanker trucks. They have to get rid of this stuff, as you put it, and then they can get rid of some of the rest of the stuff. But they haven't even accessed. When we came in this morning, the full length of this crash site hadn't been investigated because they couldn't get to it. So there's still a lot to deal with out there. You can see that right there this morning. This is going to be a minute. They have wreckers lined up, getting ready to take all those cars and everything away from there. But still a long process. And here's the thing: we can get kind of wrapped up in that major story, and why wouldn't we, right? But then you tend to, when you look at that big picture, you can lose some of the individuality. 7 dead. Dozens injured. It is the individual impact here. And
we have some survivor stories that you can actually hear from. In fact, this woman, Carly Mosley, her 3-year-old son, there's some of the survivors in this, and you can actually help some of the survivors, those injured. There's a blood donation drive actually happening. The Blood Center, you probably heard of them. They're based out of New Orleans, but there are places around Baton Rouge to donate to them. That blood is going back to the blood bank there so it can be fulfilled and stocked ready for people who need that blood. But also, if you happen to live in our viewing area, but we're driving in that way, which is quite possible, possible too.
Yeah.
Well, Louisiana State Police Troop B would like to chat with you to gather more information for this investigation. Troop B at lsp.gov, and you can email, or la.gov rather, and you can find those details and let them know that you were there so they can reach out to you and figure out, okay, so maybe some missing gaps in the investigation.
There's a lot to get through here. This is going to be the major story for a while. We'll keep you in the know. All right, some other things to get through. We're going to tear through some of these. Ascension Parish School Board set to decide on some new attendance zones. This has been a conversation. We got a new high school about to open up next year. They need to figure out these zones.
How is that going to figure out the property lines, and how is it going to divide it up? You could see some of those potential rezoned maps tonight. There's actually a meeting at the Central Middle School campus in Gonzales, and that's actually going to happen tonight.
It is it 5 o'clock? Well, it's in the store.
Yes, I believe it is 5 o'clock today, but just head on over to Central Middle School campus. That's going to be happening there, and you can get a look at those maps.
I want to let you know, you mentioned earlier, this is kind of a blurry photo, but police department trying to ID the man. This guy's accused of burglary.
Yeah, so if you can kind of make out this photo here, go ahead and share it on Facebook. Accused of burglarizing a home sometime earlier this month, so PD could really use your help.
From that to... Yes, need to be on the lookout for this. Now, not accused of doing anything.
No.
Just accused of kind of disappearing right now, right?
Gonzales PD looking for a missing 15-year-old. This is actually DeAndre Joseph Cox Jr. And so if you think you've seen him, he was last seen at the Spring Hill Suites Hotel in Gonzales. Please let Gonzales PD know if you've seen him. He was last wearing all black when he was last seen leaving Spring Hill Suites. Go ahead and call them with any information you might have.
Want to let you know about this. Community invited to a prayer vigil in honor of a Domestic Abuse Awareness Month. We're almost out of October, but a great opportunity to be a part of this and share some conversations and stories.
The Butterfly Society teaming up with the City of Baker. They're actually holding this at their city auditorium there at Groom Road in Baker. If you'd like to attend, it's actually happening at 5 o'clock this evening. Make your way out there and remember some of those stories and honor the victims here.
All right, guys, it's time to go to the State Fair. Johnny, you said you're going to be out there milking a cow. Steve, I'm not sure we want to see that, but we are giving away some tickets, actually a family 4-pack of tickets beginning today. That is what?
It's just so real.
Man.
Have you ever milked a cow?
I have not. Not sure I need that one to put that on my bucket list.
We grew up around the farm and cows and things like that. It was warm milk. You take the hay off the top of it, probably the most unhealthy in the world, but we would sip it right out of the cow, warm, sweet.
So it tastes like pretty normal?
It tastes better than normal, but I don't think it's really healthy to do, but we did growing up. That explains a lot, I know.
Does it? I think it begs more questions. I think that begs a lot more questions. Okay, well, we need a whole morning dedicated to that. Let's unpack it.
The winning play is the Buy Here, Sell Here event at the Team Automotive Group. Buy here and save on hundreds of certified and pre-owned vehicles. Or sell here and we'll pay you top value. Buy here or sell here and you'll be the winner at every location of the Team Automotive Group.